better to talk about Brady Manning 17 than a man who's played in Brady Manning 11 times and played with both of these quarterbacks for an equal number of seasons, 6 seasons. Adam Vinatieri here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, no, thanks for calling in. So when you hear about Brady Manning, what do you think of?
Epic football games. It's going to be a fun one. I mean, I've been a part of on both sides of that, and it's just one of those epic battles where kind of a chess match. Obviously there's a lot of other things that go into this game, but two great quarterbacks, two great offenses, lots of points scored. Good defenses too, and a lot of strategy involved in this game. But it should be a fun one to watch. It's always great to be part of it too, but it's always an epic game that is usually a lot of fun to be
Well,
part
these
of.
guys will never admit that this game is different because of who's on the other side of the field and who will take control of the ball when they don't have it. But does Brady and Manning throughout the week leading up to this feel any different? Do they take it in a different way because this is Brady versus Manning at all, Adam?
I think they probably do. I think they've got such a mutual respect for each other that they know that the other guy is so good and potentially is going to score a lot of points. So it's not an epic heavyweight fight where there's two guys going blow to blow, but they sit there and go, hey, I've got to keep pace, or I've got to get the lead, and I've got to put points on the board every single time I go out there because I know how good the other guy is and how easily they can score points too. So I think it's one of those things it's a horse race almost, in the sense that you want to get out to that lead and you want to distance yourself between the other team because the other team can score so many points and can jump right back into the game. So I think they probably look at it every time they step on the field, they've got to produce points. And I know both of them are so competitive that they got upset when I trot out there to kick a field goal. They're mad because they didn't put 6 on the board and trying to get 7. I've seen the frustration on both of their faces when oh man, we're going to kick a field goal instead of score a touchdown. So I think they've probably put a lot of pressure on themselves, rightfully so, because usually their team goes as they go.
Adam Vinatieri joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So you just touched upon it right there. How are these guys similar in any way?
The preparation that these guys do to get ready for the game is I'm sure there's a handful of other guys that are very competitive like that. We have one in our locker room now as well, but their week is no nonsense. There's no joking around. It's always about how prepared and how much work can I put in so I know every single wrinkle that could possibly come into this game. It's fun to watch those two guys work because a lot of times they can dictate the opponent's defense with the way they do stuff. I mean, they're calling things to try to make the defense fall into their trap, and then all of a sudden they can call a play that will give them the right situation. So it's fun. I mean, those two guys will be. I'm sure this week it's all business there. This game is so big. You win this one, you get to go to the Super Bowl. I think this one's almost as big as the Super Bowl because it's so hard to get past this game and get there.
And Brady, we saw even with Edelman when he was dropping some balls last week, he got the Brady death stare at one point. CBS captured that.
Like I said, the intensity's there. There's a lot of love in the locker rooms too. I mean, the intensity I've seen both quarterbacks chew the butts out of coaches, receivers, running backs, defensive coaches, whatever. But it's not a disrespect thing. It's just a high intensity thing. And after the game's over, it's all hugs and laughter and hey, we love you, appreciate you, that kind of thing. But it can get pretty intense on the sideline or during the game, that's for sure.
What was it like, Adam? I'm with Adam Vinatieri here on the Rich Eisen Show. What was it like when Mo Lewis blew up Drew Bledsoe and Brady comes trotting in, and the next week his first career start was Brady Manning 1? What was it like with Brady?
Well, yeah, he was a young guy, a 5th round or so draft pick. We didn't. I watched him, as a backup or as a scout team quarterback, and thought, man, this kid, he's a young guy. He's pretty good. He's a talented guy, but until you're out there proven in the real game stuff, it's hard to know what to expect. I didn't know. I knew, we're going against Peyton Manning and a really explosive offensive team. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking, oh, man, everybody else needs to really step up. The offensive line needs to give him time. Let's give him some nice short passes to get, to kind of get his feet wet and get into this thing. But he impressed me the first game, the very first start, and he went out there and won that game. And he's continued to impress me every year and every game since. He's just a very competitive, smart, cool under pressure kind of guy that doesn't get rattled much. If something bad happens, he shakes it off and keeps going forward. So I was really impressed the very first time he stepped out there, and he's been making opponents very sad for many games and many years since.
Well, and one of them, obviously, for those years, he was 6-0 for his first six tries against Peyton Manning. They've been 5-5 in the 10 games since. When you arrived in Indianapolis, and you just talked about Peyton Manning's rabid, legendary preparation, did he at all pick your brain about the Brady Belichick system and things of that nature?
Well, and I'm glad you touched on that. We always say Peyton versus Tom, but keep in mind that there's a pretty impressive coach in there that can X and O as well as anybody that I've ever seen in my life. I've got a huge admiration and respect for Bill Belichick. I think he puts a game plan together that makes it extremely difficult for opposing quarterbacks. So, Brady gets to go against other teams, and then Peyton has to go not only against Brady's team, but also a coach that can put some wrinkles and make it very difficult for opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, I think Peyton is probably as good of a smart of a quarterback and as good as preparing for anybody out there. But Belichick has a way to put some wrinkles in there to make it difficult. And I know those first handful of games when I was on that team, when I was in New England, part of that. He puts together some tough game plans and made it difficult for Peyton. And if we could get a turnover or an interception or something like that, it just seemed to change the momentum enough that we won some games at that point.
So that's a yes. He did try to pick your brain when you first got there. Yeah.
I guess I gave you the long answer.
No.
For sure.
So before I let you go, Adam, I've got about a minute left. What about your future? How much longer are you going to keep doing this?
I don't know. I haven't put a time limit on it. I feel like I'm still kicking at a pretty high level. I feel healthy, and I still love the game as much as I always have. And that's the key for me. If you can strap on a helmet, run out there, and still really enjoy it, which I do, why slow down now? You always want to win another Super Bowl. You always want to keep going as long as you can. As long as I can be an asset and not a liability, why not keep going for a little while longer?
Yeah, I mean, and the extra points, this moving back, that you didn't really blink an eye on that one. Some of your colleagues did.
There's a handful of misses throughout the year. I thought it would make a big difference late in the year when the field conditions and the wind conditions and the weather and all that were going to make a difference. We'll see. These are big games this weekend, too. We'll see how it all goes. But, I think kickers are getting better every year, and they're handling the adjustments, that's for sure.
So who retires first, you, Belichick, or Brady, Adam?
Probably me. Those two guys don't look like they're ever slowing down. So
okay.
I look forward to it, and hopefully we can play them again.
And speaking slowing down, you or Matt Hasselbeck, who wins in the 40? Who wins the 40?
I'm gonna just so I don't disrespect him. I'm going to say he will, but don't sell me too short, though.
Don't sleep on you. So So who makes a better tackle, you or McAfee on special teams? Who can wrap up?
I'm going to give that to McAfee too. I'm a little rusty on it. I used to make some pretty good tackles, but it has been a few years.
Now, does McAfee wrap? It looks like he just tries to hit people and knock them over. I don't know if he wraps up though.
Well, he goes after the little. I think most of the big hits that he's had, he makes good tackles, but he goes after those little guys and he puts some weight into it. I think he's 220. The guys that he's tackling are 175 pounds. I think he's got the weight advantage for sure.
Yeah, like he'll turn down Eddie Lacy, but Trendon Holiday, he'll try and blow him up.
Right on.
I got it. Hey, Adam, thanks very much. Keep in touch. I'd love to hear from you and have you back on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. That's Adam Vinatieri.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.